All right.
Welcome to Political Beatdown. I'm Ben Meiselas, joined by the one and only Michael Cohen. Debate night is here. Vice President Kamala Harris will take the stage with Donald Trump on ABC. George Stephanopoulos will be moderating. Debate set to start at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific. Getting ready for it. Vice President Kamala Harris has started the day by trolling Donald Trump on his propaganda network Fox, running the following ad over and over and over again today. Play the clip.
Here's a 78-year-old billionaire who has not stopped whining about his problems.
Oh, she had a big crowd. Oh, the crowd.
This weird obsession with crowd sizes. It just goes on and on and on. America's ready for a new chapter. We are ready for a President Kamala Harris.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
Want to get your reaction to that, Michael Cohen. I also want to tell you, though, my sources are telling me Vice President Kamala Harris is rested, relaxed, and ready to go. And from the reporting I'm hearing about Donald Trump, it's the exact opposite. The campaign is a bit in panic mode right now. They're hoping that angry Donald Trump doesn't show up, that's kind of who he is. What do you make of all of this, Michael Cohen?
Yeah. So first of all, I love the ad. I love the visuals on it. However, if I was still there and if I was speaking, for example, with the folks at the Harris Walls campaign, I would say that's not the exact way that I would have done it. And I'll tell you what my reasons are. First of all, we all, whether you like Trump or you hate Trump, we all have seen his rallies. We've also seen the lines of people that are out there waiting to get into his rallies and so on. So making the contrast that there's crickets, that there's nobody there, nobody's really buying that. All right, that's the truth. However, Ben, you showed it right here on our Political Beatdown show. You showed it where there was a relatively decent-sized rally. Trump was speaking. You remember this? And you started to show a whole slew of people just picking themselves up and leaving. In fact, there was one of these Democratic trollers on the outside asking them, hey, where are you going? He's still speaking. Why are you leaving? Right? And that's what I would have focused more on. Not that there's nobody there showing up, because we all know that's not true. There is 38% of this country that are diehard, dumbass maggots, and they will go to anything that Trump is at. However, they also get very bored easily. And those are the folks that were picking themselves up and leaving. That's the contrast that I would have made. But as we now are just several hours away from what's going to be, in my estimation, the worst ass kicking that Donald Trump has ever had to contend with. It is going to be 10 times worse than anything that the Republicans said to Donald while he was one of the 17 candidates. It is going to be 20 times worse than anything that Hillary Clinton said. And it will be 100 times worse than anything that Joe Biden had said to Trump when they were on the debate stage. Here's the nice thing about Kamala Harris. Number one, she's wickedly smart. Two, she's got a great way about her where she can say it and say it with a smile, and that's going to get under his skin. Everything that she's going to say to him is going to be in some way, shape, or form, whether it's a upfront slap to the face or it's going to be a behind the back punch to the head. But she's going to rile him up because Donald Trump believes himself to be infallible. And when he also believes is that he has the thickest skin of anybody in the entire world. There's nothing anybody can say to him that's going to get him going. And we all know that that's not true. What we know is that he's actually thin-skinned, and he behaves like a petulant child. And she's going to take him apart with all of the prep work that they've done and none on the other side. This is going to be one for the ages.
Here's that video, Michael Cohen, that you were referencing before of the people leaving during one of Donald Trump's speeches. Let's play this clip.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Tom. New York, Brooklyn County DA, Paul Battisti. Thank you.
Michael Cohen, one of the other ads that Vice
That's
President
a lot of
Kamala
people
Harris,
who need to use the bathroom there, Ben.
one of the other ads that Vice President Kamala Harris is running in anticipation that Donald Trump will spend the entire evening lie after lie. She says Donald Trump has a real problem with the truth. Here's the ad. This is also running across the country right now, targeted to swing states. Let's play it.
His lies never stop.
$35 insulin. You know who did that? I did that.
Obviously not true. Here's Joe Biden signing that piece of legislation.
During my 4 years, I had the best environmental numbers.
Trump rolled back environmental protections and dismissed climate change.
Project 25. I don't know anything about it.
Donald Trump has been at our organization. He's blessed it. He's very supportive of what we do.
I'm a better looking person. Roe v. Wade back to the states. No inflation.
I did nothing wrong.
Here's the truth. Donald Trump has been and always will be a liar.
What'd you make of that one, Michael Cohen?
I mean, powerful and truthful. You know, as I like to say on my Mea Culpa podcast, or even here on Political Beatdown, raw, unfiltered truth. You cannot get something that's more powerful than truth, especially when you do it in a raw and unfiltered manner. Donald Trump lies about everything. He turns around and he claims that the only reason, for example, that the economy right now is rolling along is because business believes that he's going to win the election. I mean, it's amazing how this narcissistic sociopath views the entire world revolving around him, like he's the sun and everything revolves around him. It's amazing. The insulin is all because of him. Everything is because of him. Or, in fact, what can Donald Trump do in 24 hours? Well, first and foremost, he could stop the Russia-Ukraine war in 24 hours. He's also said that he could stop the Israel-Hamas war in 24 hours. He's also said that he could resolve world hunger. He could also fix the immigration problem, everything within 24 hours. It's truly amazing because in 4 years that he was president of the United States, he didn't accomplish shit. So how all of a sudden is he going to do anything in 24 hours? In fact, he also said, and it's so crazy that we're even having this conversation. He said within the first 24 hours of his taking office, he's going to rewrite the Constitution. Could you imagine this dumb shit trying to rewrite the Constitution? Now he's talking about also rewriting the 25th Amendment. On top of that, he wants to destroy the tripartite system of government, confer all power from legislative and judicial branches to the executive branch, everything that he can do, Middle Eastern peace, all the way to whatever. It's all within 24 hours. And Ben, you know, as do our brigaders, he lies like we breathe. And that's the saddest thing, that this guy could be one of the two candidates for the highest office in the land, for the most powerful office in the world, and yet lie with the frequency and the contempt as he does. Terrible.
You know, one of the things he's been calling for today is closing down and shutting down the government. Moments ago, MAGA Mike Johnson appeared on CNN. I'm having our team go and try to find that file. I know ASIN is working on it right now, where MAGA Mike Johnson said that he agrees with Donald Trump's sentiments here when he was showed this post. And one of the things that Donald Trump is trying to do is actually cause an economic downturn because he believes if the stock market is doing bad, if Americans are hurting in their 401k, that he can swoop in and then blame Biden and Harris for that. It's why he killed a bipartisan immigration deal whose lead negotiator was none other than an Oklahoma Republican Senator, James Lankford. You don't get much more conservative than that. But pull up this post, because as you talk about it, Cohen, how Donald Trump saying that he wants to rewrite or just completely shred the Constitution, that should be disqualifying. When any of the major candidates is making a post like this that lies about election fraud that does not exist and uses that as a pretext to shut down the government, to cause economic devastation, the fact that that's not front cover news on any corporate media tells you how broken our overall system is. Here's what he writes.
Ben,
earlier today, he posted, if Republicans in the House and Senate don't get absolute assurances on election security, they should in no way, shape, or form go forward with a continuing resolution on the budget. The Democrats are trying to stuff voter registrations with illegal aliens. Don't let it happen. Close it down. Shut down our government so we, the people, suffer. That's what he's talking about, Michael Cohen?
Yeah, Ben, there's even more in that tweet that's not being exposed. Jeremy, put it up for 1 second more. Sorry to interrupt you, my brother, but this is so important. There's a line in here that nobody's concentrating on. If Republicans in the House and Senate, and here's the key, don't get absolute assurances on election security. All right, take that down for a second. Ben, what does that mean? They don't get absolute assurances on election security? Tell me,
it means whatever the hell Donald Trump wants it to mean.
Yes, exactly. There is nothing that the Democrats can do or offer that Donald Trump will accept as being absolute, because absolute only exists in his mind. And the only way that it will be absolute is if he automatically wins right from the very get-go. Other than that, it's corrupt. And what he wants to do is what you said so correctly and eloquently. He wants to destroy the government. He wants to shut the government down. He wants the American people to suffer. He wants them to suffer so that he thinks that he could, up and through the election, come in and talk about how you are all suffering and how I and only I can be your savior. I and only I can correct the problem. I and only I know what to do, nobody else, and therefore you would be out of your mind if you want things to change and you want to be able to have an economic life in this country. You must vote for me. That is the game plan that Donald Trump right now is playing in the back of his mind, especially when you start looking at these ridiculous, these stupid posts that he's putting out there.
That's why what you and I are saying, these are not like liberal positions that we want to keep the government not shut down, right? This isn't a progressive position or an independent position or a concern. It should just be an American position. All we are sharing with people are his literal words. Donald Trump filed 70 lawsuits claiming there to be systemic voter fraud and all of these issues. He got laughed out of court on essentially every single one of them and lost so badly that a lot of his lawyers were either sanctioned or lost their licenses. And you warned them, Cohen, exactly what was going to happen to them. So there is no illegal aliens who are out there voting the same way there aren't undocumented thousands of Haitians in Springfield, Ohio, who are going into people's backyards and stealing and eating their cats and dogs and jumping in ponds and ripping off the necks of ducks. Now, we go, what in the world is Ben talking about? The House Judiciary GOP account led by Jim Jordan has been posting these AI images of Donald Trump clutching kittens and clutching ducks and clutching dogs and talking about, and this is what the GOP is pushing, a total lie. The Springfield Police Department are coming out saying this is not happening. There's no pets being stolen. And what these MAGAs did, they took some image that was posted on Reddit like months ago as a joke in Columbus. And they're using this image of just a black man holding like a goose. And they're now saying that these are Haitians, thousands of them have taken over Springfield, and they're eating everybody's pets. Benny Johnson, who was affiliated with that entity that was the subject of the DOJ indictment for spreading Russian disinformation, just doubling down. Thousands, he goes, thousands of Haitian migrants terrorize Ohio, eat family pets, cats, and dogs. This isn't happening. They are literally they did the same thing in Aurora, Colorado, Venezuelan cartels. They've taken over buildings. Aurora is now owned by the Venezuelan migrant cartels. And then they push these messages on Fox and right-wing media. Take a look at what Congressmember Eric Swalwell, this wasn't where I was going to go with it, Cohen. It just kind of evolved to talk about, but I got to talk about this topic now. Here's what Congressmember Eric Swalwell said earlier today. Let's play this one.
What in the hell is this? The chairman tweets, protect our ducks and kittens in Ohio because he goes down some crazy rabbit hole, completely debunked that aliens are eating pets. My God, are you okay, Mr. Chairman? Because last year, for a very long time, you tweeted and promoted Kanye West as he was calling for genocide against the Jews, and you kept it up. And now when we have victims coming here, you're tweeting this nonsense. I don't know why you would do this. I hope you're okay. I don't know if the aliens who are eating your ducks are in the room with us right now.
Michael Cohen.
I mean, there's just no words for this level of stupidity, this level of pandering to Donald Trump. That's all that this is. They wanted to run with a fake narrative of an anti-immigrant narrative base. They've already done it to the Mexicans. They've done it to the blacks, right? 107% of black jobs are being taken by migrants. Go after another small group in their mind. Go after the Haitian community, right? Turn around and say that they're out there right now, breaking into houses, running through people's backyards, stealing your pets and eating them. I mean, this goes right back to the stupidity, for example, of Pizzagate, where they keep coming up with these QAnon type conspiracies that are so, they're so, first of all, they're disgusting because they're racist and they're sexist and they're xenophobic. I mean, they're Islamophobic. They're just everything phobic. And for whatever the reason might be, and I can't figure it out. I really, truly can't. I can't figure out the message that they think that they're putting out there that is going to engender one single, look at that, an Oompa Loompa has stolen a cat and a duck, right? I mean, why don't you put this fat ass onto a bicycle with a fucking witch's hat and say, I'll get you, my pretty, and your cat and your duck too. I mean, that's really what we're talking about here. This has got to be some of the stupidest shit I've ever seen in my entire life. First of all, he's completely orange there. So maybe like the Hulk, instead of turning green, he's turning orange. I just don't get it. Explain to me how any one person, any one Democrat, any one independent, or that 30+% of the Republican Party who has already said that under no circumstances can they vote for somebody this stupid. So how is this sort of stupidity going to get one single additional vote in a race that is going to require every single person's vote out there?
I have an answer.
Explain this to me.
I'll explain it to you.
Please do, my friend.
Because everybody is sane washing him. They're not seeing these images. The media is in overdrive, not showing his literal words and what he's doing. I bet you that other than a very small group of other independent media outlets and occasionally maybe one show or one segment on one show of MSNBC, maybe is this actually covered. But they spend all the time in the world stain washing Donald Trump. He's graded on the curve of like a kindergartner with like real like bullying problems. So he's graded on some kindergarten curve. Vice President Kamala Harris is graded on the curve of presidential, like almost perfection, which she should be rated on. That's how we should rate people. And it should not be a political thing. We should have the highest possible standards for the highest office in the land. But every day, Donald Trump's making QAnon posts. He's saying that the FBI was somehow involved in January 6th. He claims all the January 6th records have been destroyed and deleted and don't exist anymore when you could just do a simple Google search. And he's just sane washed. I want to show you this, Michael Cohen. This is a video, another ad right here by Vice President Kamala Harris, perhaps I think her most powerful yet, where she's like, take a look at the people who worked for Donald Trump. Take a look at former Vice President Pence. Take a look at his former defense secretary, his former national security advisors. The closest people with the biggest jobs say that Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. But why does she even need to put this in an ad? The corporate media should be talking about this every day, that the reason that Donald Trump had to pick a new running mate is because he tried to kill the other one. He tried to murder the other one when he led an insurrection. And that's not hyperbolic. That's not, oh, Ben, you're so liberal and progressive for talking about. I'm just giving you the actual freaking facts. Here's the latest ad from Vice President Kamala Harris on that topic. Let's play it.
In 2016, Donald Trump said he would choose only the best people to work in his White House. Now those people have a warning for America. Trump is not fit to be president again. Here's his vice president.
Anyone who puts himself over the Constitution should never be president of the United States. It should come as no surprise that I will not be endorsing Donald Trump this year.
His defense secretary.
Do you think Trump can be trusted with the nation's secrets ever again?
No. I mean, it's just irresponsible action that places our service members at risk, places our nation's security at risk.
His national security advisor.
Donald Trump will cause a lot of damage. The only thing he cares about is Donald Trump.
And the nation's highest ranking military officer.
We don't take an oath to a king or a queen or to a tyrant or a dictator. And we don't take an oath to a wannabe dictator.
Take it from the people who knew him best. Donald Trump is a danger to our troops and our democracy. We can't let him lead our country again.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
So, Michael Cohen, just some programming notes. I want to get your reaction to that. But first, I want to remind everybody to subscribe to Michael Cohen's YouTube channel. It's so important. I'm going to tell you why in a second as well. In addition to the fact that it's a great YouTube channel, you just search at The Michael Cohen Show on YouTube. Michael does a lot of new videos each and every day, fresh hot takes that he does. You can only get it there. It's at The Michael Cohen Show. So the next point I want to make is that ABC is not letting us stream. We requested it. They denied our request. They do not want digital media to take their role. They're allowing other corporate media to take their feed, but not digital media. So we're not going to risk streaming it and have to deal with that legal battle. We're not going to do that. But we're going to do a pre-show and we're going to do a post show here on the Midas Touch Network. So make sure that you're subscribed an hour before the debate. Join us right after the debate. Join us. We'll give you our commentary here. But it's why you need to subscribe to channels like this and at the Michael Cohen Show, because we're just getting started. Look, Fox started in the 1970s with a memo by Roger Ailes. Generationally, they grew, spread all this disinformation, and infected the nation in such a bad way. We need to disinfect. I know this is a long-term project, but we have to uplift pro-democracy voices like Cohen and all the others out there, and that's what we do at the Midas Touch Network. So make sure right now you go to at the Michael Cohen Show, subscribe there. Cohen, I know
we have about 15,000 people with us right now. Personally, I'd love to see 150,000 people with us. Why? Because one of the things that Ben and I, when we first started doing this political beatdown, one of our goals was to be able to have all of us together, one big gigantic community, a family, so that truth is told. We stop the lies. We stop the misinformation, that disinformation, that malinformation that is coming from the right. And that's why we sort of did this. Now, don't get me wrong. We're thankful for each and every person that's on here. So by the way, each and every one of you, please make sure that you're subscribed to my YouTube channel. All right. But most importantly, the reason is as we're getting down to 57 days before the most consequential. Now, I hate when I keep hearing from these fucking pundits on television. This could be the single most important election of your life and so on. Yeah, no shit. Ben and I have been saying this now for over a year. Whether it's on my Mea Culpa podcast, his Legal AF, the Meiselas brothers, we've been preaching the same thing. All of a sudden, like, it could be the single most important. No shit, Sherlock. All right? How about wake the fuck up already and understand this is going to be the single most important election that anybody is going to vote. And why? Remember when I had said in 2018, when I testified before the House Oversight Committee, and I said before Elijah Cummings, that God rest his soul, I turned around and I said that my biggest fear is if Donald Trump loses the election, there will never be a peaceful transfer of power. I said that almost 2 years before the election, and it came true. And literally a year and a half ago, when Trump first made the announcement that he was going to rerun again, in 2024, I turned around and I said, and I stand by my statement, that my biggest fear today is that if Donald Trump wins the election, there will never be another election ever. And make no bones about it, I know what I'm talking about because sadly, I know him better than anyone. I do. I know him better than anyone. I know what his mind is thinking. Maybe I graduated valedictorian from Trump University. What the fuck do I know? But what I know is that I've been right on virtually everything that I've said so far. Donald Trump wants to be an autocrat. He has already validated and he has endorsed Project 2025. This is not a joke. And it's why I want each and every one of us to join all of the Midas Touch Network podcasts. You need to remain, I don't want to say educated, but you need to hear the truth. And you may not like some of the words that come out of my mouth. You may turn around and you may not like the way that Ben turns around and explains something. That's okay. That's okay. But what you're getting is facts, not innuendo. You ever listen to some of the mainstream media? Well, I think nobody gives a fuck what you think. Tell us the facts. That's what we hear, right? Well, I think that maybe Donald is no bullshit. Facts and nothing but the facts, because that's what you need to go to the ballot box with, armed with facts. And a pen.
It's why we say play the clip, show what they're saying. When you watch corporate media, they've got like, okay, you're the left, you're the right. Tell us what just happened in your own framing, and then fight with each other, and then we go to an ad break. And as a viewer, I was left thinking, what the hell was that? I didn't even learn anything. Why are they telling me what happened versus showing me what happened so I could be informed? And then they do that 24 hours. And so that's what happens on, you know, your MSNBC and your CNNs and your ABCs or whatever. Then on Fox, you just have straight up propaganda. I mean, you literally have the Laura Ingrahams and the Hannitys and the Jesse Waters just cutting ads masquerading as news, where they are out there just completely lying. They go, here are the things that you're going to hear Vice President Kamala Harris lie about. She's going to lie about the insurrection. Really? She's going to lie about January 6th? Then why was it that you all paid a defamation verdict or a settlement for close to $1 billion? Anyway, we got a lot to talk about. Let's take our ad break. And I want to remind everybody to subscribe to @The Michael Cohen Show as well, and patreon.com/Political Beatdown. We'll be right back.
It's hot outside, and your nighttime bedroom temperature has a huge impact on your sleep quality. If you wake up too hot or too cold, I highly recommend that you check out Miracle Made's bed sheets. Miracle Made sheets are inspired by NASA, and they use silver-infused fabrics that are temperature regulating so that you can sleep at the perfect temperature all night long. Miracle sheets are luxuriously comfortable without the high price tag of other luxury brands. And you know what? They feel as nice, if not nicer, than sheets used by some 5-star hotels. Using silver-infused fabrics inspired by NASA, Miracle Made sheets are thermoregulating and designed to keep you at the perfect temperature, again, all night long, no matter the weather, so that you get better sleep every single night. Stop sleeping on bacteria. Bacteria can clog your pores, causing breakouts and acne. I mean, sleep clean with Miracle. These sheets are infused with silver that prevent up to 99.7%. Get a look, 99.7% of bacterial growth, leaving them to stay cleaner and fresh 3 times longer than other sheets. So there's no more gross odors too. Go to trymiracle.com/beat to try Miracle Made sheets today. And whether you're buying them for yourself or as a gift for a loved one, if you order today, you can save over 40%. And if you use our promo code BEAT, B-E-A-T, at checkout, you'll get 3 free towels and save, get a load of this, an extra 20%. Miracle is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you aren't 100% satisfied, you'll get a full refund. Now upgrade your sleep with Miracle Made. And go to trymiracle.com/beat and use the code BEAT to claim your free 3-piece towel set and save over 40%. Again, that's trymiracle.com/beat to treat yourself. And thank you, Miracle Made, for sponsoring this episode.
Michael Cohen. Can you hear me okay, Michael Cohen?
I hear you. I hear you perfectly, Ben.
I have a little ring light set up here, and right before we went back, it flashed out. So anyway, I'm glad you can hear me. So Cohen, I want to show you this right now, though. And want to thank also our sponsor right there. They make some great sheets. Yeah, the discount code is in the description. What'd you make of that last ad? Because they're showing advisor after advisor. Maybe I replay it for those just joining again, and then you can react to it just to remind everybody what we played before the ad. But it was Trump's closest advisors, which you once were, who now say Donald Trump was unfair. Now, you left earlier than any of them, which is why I think you should get much more credit than you warned.
Well, I don't get the credit. And there's a bunch of, I don't know if they're just trolls, whether they're bots and so on, that have some issues with me, my credibility. They hold me accountable for Donald Trump becoming president. Listen, folks, all right, it's time that there's 57 days. So it's time that you open up your eyes and you take the shit out of your ears. Let me be very clear about something. First and foremost, all right, when I represented Donald Trump was not president of the United States, okay? Did I believe in Donald Trump? I sure did. In fact, 70 million people voted for him. I didn't fix the election. I wasn't involved in election fraud or tampering. What did I do? What did I do? I did an NDA? Yeah, that I did. I owned what I did. I spent time in prison for what I did. And what did I do? I paid a porn star not to talk about the guy's mushroom pecker. Plain and simple. Before the election. Why? I shouldn't have. I acknowledge that. But do you think that that's, with all the shit that Donald Trump has done and pulled, his comments about Haitians, his comments about Mexicans, his comments about Jews, his comments about blacks, his comments about migrants, his comments about everyone, you think this would have been the straw that broke the camel's back? Come on, wake up already. We are on a mission right now to ensure the future of our democratic republic. So either you're with us right now or you're not. Plain and simple. I never went to Russia. I've never been to Russia. In fact, I've never been to Czech Republic. I've never been to Prague. All of that shit were lies. Plain and simple. They were all lies. So let me be very clear. We are all on a mission to ensure a Kamala Harris-Tim Walz win. Why? Because our Constitution depends on it. Because the rule of law depends on it. Because America's democratic republic depends on it. Whatever you think of me, I have to be honest, I don't care. I don't care. I am on my journey, and I'm hoping that you're on this journey with me to ensure that Donald Trump is held accountable for his own dirty deeds. Plain and simple. Plain and simple.
Let me show you that ad one more time, get your reaction to it. It's very powerful. And then I got to show you something that is equally ridiculous. But first, let me show you that ad one more time of Trump's former advisors. And this is put out by Vice President Kamala Harris's team. Let's play it.
In 2016, Donald Trump said he would choose only the best people to work in his White House. Now those people have a warning for America. Trump is not fit to be president again. Here's his vice president.
Anyone who puts himself over the Constitution should never be president of the United States. It should come as no surprise that I will not be endorsing Donald Trump this year.
His defense secretary.
Do you think Trump can be trusted with the nation's secrets ever again?
No. I mean, it's just irresponsible action that places our service members at risk, places our nation's security at risk.
His national security advisor.
Donald Trump will cause a lot of damage. The only thing he cares about is Donald Trump.
And the nation's highest ranking military officer.
We don't take an oath to a king or queen or to a tyrant or a dictator. And we don't take an oath to a wannabe dictator.
Take it from the people who knew him best. Donald Trump is a danger to our troops and our democracy. We can't let him lead our country again.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
Yeah, let me be very clear about something. Of all of those folks that were there, all of them, General Milley, Bolton, you name it, there's one person, and right now I'm with you, that knows him better than all of them combined, and that's this guy. And I'm telling you, straight up, raw and unfiltered, this man isn't fit to be a dog catcher, let alone to be the president of the United States of America. He is a clear and present danger to our democratic republic, again, to our rule of law, and to the Constitution of the United States. Plain and simple. There is nobody who knows him better than I do. And I am telling you, and I don't care if this guy is a 5-star general, I have the utmost of respect and thanks for his service to this country. Not just on the battlefield, but off the battlefield. I have the utmost of respect for anyone that wears the uniform. But we're not talking about respect for a uniform, for our veterans, for the military, the rule. We're talking about Donald J. Trump and the danger that he poses, what he's thinking. And I know that better than all of them combined. And I am telling you, with 100% certainty, not as Trump will say 107%, 100% certainty that Donald Trump is on a trajectory to create an autocracy from our democracy. That is a fact. All right. Project 2025 is a way to accomplish that. Donald Trump knows that he has been successful when he was president of the United States in dismantling the Constitution, in violating the rule of law, in weaponizing the Department of Justice against his critics. Hence, it's the entire topic of my second book, Revenge. How Donald Trump weaponized the United States Department of Justice against his critics. And I said, when I wrote that book, that the purpose of this book is to ensure that what he did to me, he will never, ever, ever get away with doing it to any other American ever, ever again. And right now, the trajectory that this guy is on, if in fact he becomes president of the United States, we can take that down. If he becomes president, God forbid, 1,000,000 times of the United States, not my words, his words. He's going to use the military, SEAL Team 6. He's going to go after all of his political enemies and his critics. I want you all to think for a very quick second, how many people do you think fit in that box? Do me a favor, put it in the comments. How many people do you think that Donald Trump on day number 1 will go after who are his political enemies and critics? And I'm saying more than 20,000 right off the bat. Right off the bat. We can never, ever let that happen.
You know, there's that video, which I'll try to pull up maybe even on this episode, of Saddam Hussein when he had that purge within the Ba'ath Party in Iraq. And you remember he kind of called everybody in, and, you know, all the intelligentsia, the politicians, whoever, into like a huge room. And they're all kind of waiting around, and they're all looking like, why are we here? Then he lights up a cigar and starts reading out names. Trump doesn't smoke cigars, but, you know, Trump would show up in his golf cart or whatever, or golf outfit. And he starts reading out names. And one by one, well, if your name was called, then the military came in, dragged them out. I think it was 90 to 100 people, shot him, killed him right there. So then everybody else who was in that room with Saddam, who he spared, starts giving him a standing ovation and clapping and going, long live Saddam, long live Saddam. And that, though, is the type of behavior that Donald Trump emulates, that he looks up to, that we, the people in the United States, always looked at and said, that can never happen here. That's not going to happen in the United States. And here it is. And for the last 3.5, and this is why I hope this is on display tonight, and I hope Vice President Kamala Harris will come out as the prosecutor that she is and prosecute the predator. Because for the last 3.5 years, what has the media been doing? All they've been doing is talking about their own polls for 3.5 years. Then, by the way, the polls would be wrong at every referendum election or every midterms. Then they would ignore how off their polls were actually and the narratives that they told. And then they moved back on to the polls. And we were not supposed to question, like, hey, that whole red wave thing, that didn't happen. Your polling average of Trump in the primaries was off by 15. You inflated Trump's polling in states like Michigan by 15 points. I mean, just think about that, Cohen. The fact that that gets no attention, the 538 average of polls for Michigan, and this was in a lot of other states. I think the only one that was somewhat accurate was like North Carolina, but Trump did worse in the polls anywhere between 5 and 15 during the primaries just a few months ago. And Biden overperformed those polls by around the same amounts. But then we went right back, not we, the corporate media, to talking about their same flawed polls as though they didn't just work. And you can't even be like, oh, well, you're just being conspiratorial. They were off by 15 points.
Ben, the polls are wrong. The information that mainstream media keeps talking about is wrong. Donald Trump lies. They promote the lie. Donald Trump the other day in a rally went ahead and he claimed that Kamala Harris and Joe Biden are responsible for January 6th insurrection. I want you just to think about that for a quick second, right? So, you know the expression, don't trust your lying eyes and ears? Did you not see who was there and at the ellipse right in front of the Capitol? Did you not see who was standing up there? Do we not know that he went after and tried to choke the driver of the beast because he wanted to go to the Capitol to be with his people, right? Did he not turn around and say that he was going to, ensure that they all had lawyers and none of them were going to do time? Meanwhile, a couple of them are doing 18 years, not one penny spent on any of them. Yet another lie. I mean, how much more are we all supposed to take? And the answer is we're not. And that's why I am so thankful that, we're building this community day in and day out. I do want to say, though, Ben, I know I also tried to get onto the ABC permission list. They, of course, like you, they said no to everybody. So what I'm going to do on my TikTok, I'm going to just have my little tablet next to me, which is hooked up to my Spectrum. I'm going to watch it, and we're going to have a debate party. I'm going to pull out the popcorn, my little soda. I haven't had soda in like 10 years, but I'm going to have one tonight because you're not allowed to drink on any of these things. So can't have my scotch. Instead, I'm going to have a Diet Coke, and I'm going to take out the popcorn. We're going to sit back, and I'm going to call live at that second all of the bullshit that Donald Trump is spewing. And you know what? When Kamala kicks him in the ass, right in the fucking Pampers, we're all just going to laugh and have a good time. Like a slumber party. I'm starting it at 8:45. That's going to be, what do they call that? When you're at the football game before the event starts, tailgating. So we're going to tailgate starting at 8:45. And we're going to have some fun for as long as until we all get bored. And I don't think we're going to get bored, Ben, because, in all fairness, I think Donald is going to make a complete and total asshole of himself, even if he tries to control himself, which at first he may. The more she keeps needling at him, the less likely that he's going to be able to withstand the needle by her. And then he's going to try coming out and swinging and turning around and saying, about migrants and the economy. Everything is going to go back to that, because he thinks that's his talking points. That's all he's got.
I saw a few comments. They're saying, is Ben still on baby watch? The answer is yes. Any moment now, we could get the word that there will be a baby girl Meiselas into this world. We are thrilled about that. And, the due date is September 16th. But as anybody knows, that means it could be any moment at all right now. So the planning there will be, Brett's going to take a little more hot takes in the morning. And some of the other creators are going to fill in. And Cohen, I'd love for you as well to
listen, Ben. Yeah, obviously, I'm there for you and for Sochi, and of course for baby girl Meiselas. By the way, a very cool name for a girl happens to be Michael.
Well, the baby's name is Jimena, so it's not Michael, but it's my wife's name is Sochi, Xochitl, and so we wanted to keep the X around, and my wife's from Guadalajara.
She's gonna be beautiful, and she's gonna bring you a lifetime of what we like to say, nachas and happiness and joy. It's beautiful.
One of the things as a future baby girl dad, though, that was so deeply personal, but it's deeply personal to everyone in America and the world as well, about Vice President Kamala Harris. If you care about joy and family and values and ethics, is there's a real fear, and you're a girl dad, a very successful daughter that you have, went to Ivy League schools, crushing it, and just you've raised incredible kids. You have an incredible family. It's just this idea of like Donald Trump on Friday holding a press conference where he was like, I would never touch that one. She's not the chosen one that I would sexually assault. She's not, she's not the chosen one. And he's like going through women who have accused him of sexually assaulting them and then saying the reason that he didn't do it is that they weren't the chosen one that he would sexually assault. Cohen, he's flying around right now in the airplane that Epstein trafficked women in. Now, it was sold at an estate sale.
That's because his 757 is a piece of shit. It's old, and so it may look good. It's got a great paint job onto it, and the interior has nice seating and so on. And again, it is properly maintained on the inside, but you can't help it. The plane is it's like a 24, 25-year-old plane. These things happen. They have to go for what's called the C check, which is not only a C, not SEA, but the letter C. A C check where they have to X-ray the entire hull of the plane. Believe it or not, they have an X-ray machine that they actually put the airplane through, and it X-rays to make sure that there aren't any cracks or any gaps in the seals that make up the whole of the aircraft and so on. And it's very expensive, and it's also quite a large aircraft. So he's now renting Jeffrey Epstein's airplane. Imagine that there's got to be how many airplanes that you could potentially rent, and all of a sudden you're renting this one. The whole thing, like Donald, is weird. It's
by the way, the
plane weird.
And that's a plane that he went on when he was Epstein's close friend, and said that Epstein is this was a direct quote from Trump. Epstein is a great guy who likes women on the younger side. Right. Donald Trump is quoted saying one of the reasons he liked to buy beauty pageants was so he can inspect the girls naked. I do a ton of hot takes on this where I go through this because it's, again, just not being covered. But I want to leave people with the final preview of what to expect tonight. The prosecutor, Vice President Kamala Harris. Here's an example of what I think we'll see tonight. Her talking about taking on perpetrators of all kind. Let's show you Vice President Kamala Harris.
So as Leah told you, before I was elected vice president, before I was elected United States Senator, I was elected Attorney General of the state of California, and I was a courtroom prosecutor before then. And in those roles, I took on perpetrators of all kinds. Predators who abused women, fraudsters who ripped off consumers, cheaters who broke the rules for their own gain. So hear me when I say, I know Donald Trump's type. I promise you, I will proudly put my record against his any day of the week.
That's the prosecutor. Now let me show you the predator. This was his press conference on Friday. Play the clip.
But she made up a story. It fabricated 100% that I attacked her at Bergdorf Goodman. You know, it's very interesting. I don't think they were allowed to use this either. Her favorite show is Law and Order. And there's a almost exact story as her story in Law and Order about being attacked in the dressing room of a department store. I don't know if they used the name of the store. But that's her favorite show, Law and Order. She said that. And anyway, this evolved into a defamation case against me because I disputed her words because I told the truth. We were called. I was in the White House, and I said, no, it never happened. I didn't even know what they were talking about. This was, I think I was in the Oval Office. Sir, do you know anything about this? And this had to do with the book, and she had a few pages in a book making this claim. By the way, there was never a claim. There was never a police report. There was never anything mentioned. There was never publicity 30 or 40 years ago, whenever it took place. Nobody knows. She doesn't know when it took place. When did it take place? She has no idea. She thinks it was in the 1990s. She thinks it was in the 1990s.
So let me give you the final word on the show, the two-finger salute as we head
Has
into
to
the
go.
debate.
There's no doubt, and I believe that every single brigader that's making comments right now, yes, crybaby thief, the whole bit, there is nobody more deserving of the two-finger salute for this show than von Schitzenpants himself. First of all, once again, this fucking moron has not learned his lesson. Not the first time he got whacked in the diaper for $5 million, not the second time for another 80+ million, bringing up to like $93 million in total for defamation and for his actions, his sexual assault of E. Jean Carroll. You see, this is what makes him so fucking stupid and why he's unfit to be president of the United States of America, why he's unfit to be president of anything. The man does not know when to call it quits. He will go down to his dying breath saying the same stupid shit, even though he lost the first time, he got whacked the second time. And you know what we're all saying to ourselves right now? How great would it be if E. Jean's lawyer, Roberta Kaplan, went ahead and filed yet a third defamation claim? Wouldn't that be right? Because that's what he's doing. That's what he's doing. He's sitting there and he is lying yet again. He is defaming somebody who he has already been held accountable for sexual assault, for rape. And yet he's doing it again. He is a true narcissistic sociopath. It is absolutely enough. And the fact that there are Americans that think that this guy is the right guy in order to take us into the future, in order to protect women's reproductive decision-making rights, in order to ensure that the United States remains the beacon of democracy, the best country in the world, that we remain a democratic republic? No, Donald, no. You are the wrong person. You will get your ass handed to you tonight. Mark my words, and you're going to be with me. Folks, I hope you're with me on that TikTok. We're going to have a shitload of fun. Donald, I know you're watching because you're certainly not preparing for the debate. Fuck you with both fingers. New York salute to you. On behalf of all the political beatdown brigaders.
Vice President Kamala Harris has announced that there will be a drone show. They will be mocking Donald Trump before the debate. They've also taken billboards out right where the debate's taking place, saying crowd size matters and mocking Donald Trump for people leaving his events and for having smaller crowds than her. You have the kind of psychological warfare taking place. Vice President Kamala Harris going on the offense. So we will have our pre-show of the debate an hour before it starts. So make sure you all are subscribed to our YouTube channel, and we'll see you there an hour before. Now, make sure you subscribe to @The Michael Cohen Show. That's Michael Cohen's YouTube channel. He's on his journey to get to 1 million subscribers. There's new content there every single day. Cohen's working really hard to curate that channel. So please, if you can, subscribe @The Michael Cohen Show. Sometimes there's 3 new videos a day, 2 new videos a day, sometimes even more, 4 videos a day. Check it out @The Michael Cohen Show. Patreon.com/political beatdown. Michael Cohen and I will soon be announcing a private Zoom meeting. We'll do it sometime after the debate. We'll try to do it sometime this week. It may just have to be Cohen going solo because I'm on baby watch and I may not be able to do it. Patreon.com/political beatdown. Make sure you check that out. Also, Mea Culpa Blue.
Yeah,
wherever you get your audio podcast, just search Mea Culpa. Make sure you spell it correctly. MEA space CULPA. The blue one, not the red one. There are new episodes every week. Subscribe to Mea Culpa. It's right here on the Midas Touch Network. And
I have Ben coming up. I have the girls from I've Had It podcast. It is so funny. These girls are wickedly bright, and They are great. Jen and Angie, or AKA Pumps. They are so funny and so right on, right? They're like you and me.
Well, it's funny, like meets like, and they become super close friends of mine over the past year, 18 months, and their future is so bright over there. Like, I can't wait to see what they at 2025, 2026. My prediction is they're going to be, I don't want to make the comparison to like an Oprah because it's different, but they're going to be our generation's. They're going to be major voices. We'll just say that.
If you want to hear it, just go to the Mea Culpa podcast. It's fantastic. Subscribe.
All right. Thank you so much, Cohen. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Let's keep growing this community together. We'll see you on the pre-show in just a few hours. Have a good one. Shout out Brigaders. Shout out Midas Mighty.